Hi everyone. So you have now reached the end of week 3. In week 3, we examined 3 different case studies. We discussed the case of microplastics, climate change, and some greenhouse gases that, according to your comments, you didn't really know much about, and the sustainable development in Albania. This week's feedback is going to be very brief because I know that our mentors have been discussing with you, and I saw you all exchange ideas and comments, so thank you very much for your contribution again. Again, just a couple of things about microplastics. So yes, there are different kinds of microplastics, the fibers and the beads. We separate them in different ways. We call them primary and secondary, depending on how they've come up, because the primary microplastics, we make them to be small. However, the secondary ones, they start from a very big bit of plastic, and then they just fragment and break down until they become very small. And they are a huge problem. They've been everywhere on the news. There are articles trending on social media everywhere, how you can now find microplastics into the deepest point of the ocean. If I'm not mistaken, a group of scientists found microplastics in the Mariana Trench. So this is literally the deepest place on Earth. It is very fortunate that there are so many bottom-up initiatives, and if you remember, we spoke about bottom-up initiatives previously in the course. So these are the initiatives that are formed by a group of people that have the same interests. So a local organization, a non-government organization, students, citizens. So they get together and they start trying to address these issues. These initiatives are very important, and in the case of plastic and microplastics, they have managed to increase awareness and bring this problem forward. And this is also how, I think it was the Marine Conservation Society, I will double check and post on the comments, but I think it was the Marine Conservation Society that started collecting signatures about banning certain pieces of plastic, and then those signatures got all the way to the government. So I understand that it may have made a lot of you sad discussing the issue of microplastic and the extent of the pollution, but please be assured that much as you care, there's so many other people that care about this problem. So keep learning about these things, keep educating yourself, keep talking to your friends, keep thinking about it. And probably the best thing you can do is normalize these discussions, because if we talk about these things and we exchange ideas, then it's much more likely that we will eventually find a solution. So moving to the next case study, the PFCs and CF4, I think this is something that a lot of you picked up, that you were fascinated by how industry and academia have been working together, and by taking a lot of different roles. So from a policy point of view, and a scientific point of view, and an academic point of view, this is exactly the way to solve a problem. So you need all these roles, and you need people discussing between themselves from different walks of life, understanding the problem in different ways. That is the most efficient way to find a solution. One small comment I would like to make. So the reason why PFCs are not as known as other greenhouse gases is because they've quite recently come under our radar. So we were aware of them for a long time. I think they first appeared in the literature in 1961. However, they weren't that much used back then. We didn't know they were going to become such a big problem. And it is to the credit of all the industries that they've been working so hard to decrease their emissions. I would very much encourage you to go to the Aluminium Institute's website, which I will post in the comments, and check how their emissions have been decreasing since 1990. So they have put a lot of work and a lot of effort, because obviously we can't just stop using aluminium. We need aluminium, much as we need semiconductors, and much as we're going to need, and we do need, the rare earths. So it is not an issue of the industries stopping what they're doing, but finding a solution so that they can continue what they're doing, and that's the part of the development, but with very much decreased emissions, and that is the part of the sustainable. So this is how sustainable development comes together in this case. We still need to develop, but we can't deal with any more greenhouse gases. Finally, for the third case study, I would really like to thank you for all of your comments on the Albanian case study. Auron Torres is in fact a very inspirational researcher, citizen, sustainable development representative, and the chair of UNESCO now. For the marine affairs. He's very inspirational because the kind of work that he does with the community has been non-stop throughout his career, and he has transformed several parts in Albania. And I would absolutely invite you to either visit Putrin, so just physically go there and see the work that he has done with the archaeological space, with the communities, with how the community is now producing its own products. But I would also invite you to go to the mountains of Albania and visit Nivica, because there is a new project going on there now, and this is a project very close to our own heart and my own, because myself and Astierni, who is the other educator in this course, we've been working there on a project that is trying to link the mountain communities to the sea. It is trying to restore Via Ignatia, one of the most important Roman roads, and it is so deeply interdisciplinary. It combines archaeology, marine conservation, terrestrial conservation, biology, and the way the community there has been responding has been absolutely fascinating. And if there is one reason these projects are going so well, is because of the involvement and the dedication of the community. So I've got a lot of links to post for you this time, so I'm going to end this video now. Looking very much forward to seeing all of you on week 4, and thank you very much for your involvement.